Well, that was an epic flop. So, YouTube, why am I walking around with a mini bike over my shoulder? Well, it's because this happened.
And what is happening is I am in Blackfoot Transmissions, and it is because, as you guys know, we've been having consistent problems with the transmission of PJ. What we are doing right now is conversing with Rob, the owner of Blackfoot Transmissions, and what we're kind of discovering are a couple different interesting facts about PJ as an engine that is a little bit new news. I'm replacing the flywheel plate, and then I'm also getting a full rebuild of the transmission, and I'll give you more kind of information about exactly what the parts and pieces are.
So one of the big things that I found out about is I actually have a Chevy G20 van, but because through different owners they've done repairs and stuff, technically the rebuild of that van changed. They basically replaced a Chevy block engine. I have a GM train engine, not like train choo-choo train, but it's called a train engine in my van. So it's a GM engine in a Chevy van. It actually gives it more power. It's a 5.7 liter engine, but it meant that there was a completely different flex plate, which was the defining issue wrong with the vehicle, was that there's a flex plate that's now chipped and worn down. So we had to go on a big hunt to replace that flex plate. The other thing is that there's 2 leaks. We thought it was just the actual pan, which was replaceable, but I actually had a front leak on a tubing, and that actually caused the major repair and a complete rebuild of the transmission as the best decision. Now, again, to be completely transparent for all these people, that changed about $500 of repair to $1,500 worth of repair, which you'll discover, and if you're on my Instagram, you'll know this. I've already had about $3,000 worth of repair. So we're getting close. We're dipping the toe of $5,000 of repair that has happened to the vehicle in just 1 year. So these are the factors that you have to think about as you want to live nomad. Because there's so much myth and kind of just this dream of what van life is and the freedom it is. And I will say that there is an amazing freedom in van life. But there's new obstacles. And there's new financial burdens. And trying to keep up with this, especially if you take the risk and do an early, smaller investment as your onset investment, you better be managing yourself to think about that more than likely, because you're putting the vehicle more than likely through way more work than it has ever worked. I'm at 30,000 miles on PJ, right? So that's a lot more than PJ's ever had to drive. And so naturally, you have to have a strong repair budget, and you have to almost calculate that into everything in your journey. So again, I don't think of me as stalled right now. I think of me in a cocoon, and much like the last episode said, I'm turning into a butterfly and flying around very soon. So what that means is that PJ is MIA for another week or so, which is a bummer. And I am basically getting right at the year-end mark, right? So all these things kind of are steamrolling, and what's so cool is that you guys just saw kind of the beginnings of, I totally let that bike fall, but anyways, you guys are at the beginning of seeing the beginning of the breakdowns of PJ, the wear and tear. The summer storyline, as you can see, it starts off with already heavy movement, and now is like transitioning into just a lot. And just know that I'm working very hard to get that content out. It's gonna have another episode coming Tuesday. And while I'm trying to swirl all this stuff actually in the timing of my end of year, I am trying to think out loud of like the best ways to tell the story. And it actually got me thinking a lot about the channel itself and kind of the directions where I want to go and what year 2 will look like and all those things. So my biggest thing is that I want to talk to you guys about it. So there's a couple different things that I'm thinking about kind of participating and doing while I'm doing my YouTube stuff. So one is I have some skills both as a filmmaker and a storyteller and now a van lifer that I have accumulated over this year. I can give some tips and hacks and some advice. And the biggest thing for me is I would like to know what topics you guys would feel most inclined for me to speak upon, so I could, you know, keep active to the audience that's already there, maybe generate some more viewers with now this kind of tip and hack section. It would definitely not be all of Raw and Van Life. The mission of Raw and Van Life is still like the focus of me, but as I'm starting to get, I don't want to say better at this, but if I can get into this habit more, maybe I can get more freedom to do more different type of content or integrate it better, right? Or week one's one a storyline, then we go to a tip video. You know, I'm really interested in seeing what you guys have to say. So please give me your feedback. If there's a topic that you guys feel is relevant to my story arc, or just something that you're very curious for me to speak upon, I'd like to know. And yeah, as PJ gets repaired, we're gonna have the whole channel get repaired, and I'll get repaired. It'll be one big band-aid, not a band-aid because that's temporary. It'll be one big healing, therapeutic spa session in November while I'm in my hometown. And this is actually my old neighborhood that we're walking through right now. So again, thank you so much for being my dedicated viewership. I hope that gives you a good update. Also some tips and hacks this time, and maybe something to think about for the future of the series going into year 2 as we get closer and closer to that mark. I'm excited. Hope you guys are excited. I will see you on the flippity flop, hippity hop. All right, gonna go. Bye.